Some guys might be pissed off with the premise of this video. I really hope you guys hear me out though. Why your goals are making you unhappy. I want to be very specific here and say it is actually your attachment to a goal that I think is a root cause of suffering for many guys, not the goal itself. We love goals here. Andy and I love goals. We love seeing guys take action towards goals. I think Andy has a video, which I wholeheartedly agree with, called Your Goals Are Sacred. What you want in life is sacred, and you shouldn't be judged for it, and we should accept you and help you, especially Andy and me, if we're going to coach you or, we're just trying to help you with our content. We'd love you to have a focus, a meaning in your life, and goals are fantastic, especially for younger guys in that way. What we see though, a lot, is guys who have bought into the idea that they need to suffer for the sake of their goals, and an underlining idea that you won't be happy until you've met your goal, until you've reached your goal. Like the goal itself will be the cause of your happiness, whatever that perfect situation is, that ideal life you're aiming for. That is when you get to be happy. And until then, it's all about the work, it's all about the suffering, it's all about the grind. And that's just something that we reject, to be honest, something that Andy has rejected for some time, as both of us were guys who believed in the suffering, in the grind and all that stuff. And we want to present an alternative path, and full respect to the guys out there who, have that, I guess I call it enjoyment of suffering, the enjoyment of like grinding away regardless of how they feel. It's impressive. More power to you all. Andy and I, though, nowadays want guys to realize that there is an alternative path and there are ways of being happy, being content, or at least being neutral, being, someone who's kind of in the equilibrium when they're trying to achieve their goals. That's possible. You don't have to be miserable for the entirety of, trying to achieve whatever big goal that you have. We have like stuff in place in the coaching program. We taught guys to do the Byron Katie, we tell guys to do Byron Katie's The Work. There's a lot of stuff with David Hawkins in terms of letting go of your really negative emotions and negative stories, having these basically ideas that came out of therapy and self-help and all that stuff, which are basically, I think Taylor once described it, he's one of our coaches, as like the cheat codes to happiness. Like now that he has these cheat codes to happiness, it's a lot easier to achieve things. And that's the main idea that we have, is that like, if you can be happy from day one, if you can be content and joyful and loving from day one, or at least in the middle of the process towards getting to your goals, you're going to get there like probably faster. You're going to get there easier. You're going to have less, stuff in the way because you have more of an iron mindset. You have more of a mindset that's going to help you in a lot of situations, especially if like your goals are in like dating. Can you imagine showing up to, or cold approaching, or to showing up to dates, and you're an optimistic person that's in love with life, that's super happy, that is loving towards the people you meet, especially these girls. Can you imagine how much better your interactions with women are going to go if you have that kind of mindset, if you have that kind of openness and happiness and connection, and you're not just someone who's suffering and beating themselves up and down on themselves, especially the hopelessness part of it. Like, I don't want what it's like for girls to continually meet guys who have an air of hopelessness about them. And we want to save people who are, I guess, stuck in that hard middle ground you have to go through. So like when you start a goal, that first little bit, it's exhilarating, it's exciting, there's a lot of new stuff, your brain gets a lot of new information and new dopamine hits. Then you sort of hit like the middle section, which is the grind, like the middle bit of most goals, from like, I guess, if we're going 0 to 100, like 20 to 80 of a goal stretch is like the middle. And there's like a pain period. And then beyond the pain period, usually you reach some sort of stuff which is like repetitive. Like in business, you have to learn all the stuff and you have to do in business. There's a pain period where you're kind of shit. And then you reach the point where it's just repetitive marketing, repetitive sales, repetitive delivery of the product. And you just keep doing that until you've grown something massive and then you can outsource. That's generally the way businesses are built. And yeah, in the midst there was a pain period and then a grind. And that is the area where understanding your mind and understanding how to let go of negative stories, to spot false stories that are making you unhappy, how to rework the things that are getting you down, rework the things that are making you pessimistic, all of that stuff really, really, really helps you keep going and avoid that feeling of hopelessness and avoid getting stuck in the mud of that. A friend of mine called the desert of loneliness, and I think he was applying it to business, but I really think it applies to most goals. The desert of loneliness you can feel in the gym when you're going through that middle period too, and dating, especially when you're trying to get from, a complete beginner to someone who's a bit more advanced or has an abundant dating life. A lot of guys get stuck in the middle ground where they can get laid, but it's not to the amount they want, like in terms of girls they see. It's not to the standard of girl they want. And a lot of guys get really stuck in that middle ground. But a lot of the time as well, it's like your standards increase. So as your standards increase, it gets harder and harder to be excited about new girls and be happy with the girls you're seeing, because it's kind of a creep. I saw, I think it was Dan Bilzerian talking about this, where he was like, yeah, he had to like almost detox his mind because he'd gone through so many like extremely like, what's the word? His sensations or whatever, his extreme experiences in dating with girls, that like he needed to detox from it all level because he wasn't enjoying it anymore. And like someone like that who's gone that far, like with girls, it's like crazy to hear that, because like even on a lower level you feel that like the creeping of your standards just makes it harder and harder to get. I think that's why a lot of guys quit dating, because like it just they either meet someone they really like and want to build something new with, or they just get bored of like, meeting girls over and over again. It's only the absolute nut jobs who stay in this. Or the ethically non-monogamous. That's those of us as well. Those of us who can't be monogamous, we have to stay in the dating pool. But yeah, the idea that like getting to the goal is going to make you happy, I found this not to be true. I think for a lot of people, you can read a lot of guys talking about this experience of like they reached the mountaintop and that wasn't what made them happy. Happiness is not necessarily achieved by these goals. Happiness more comes down to, meaning. I know one of our mentors, Caleb Jones, talks about like how as you get older, you can come up with your meaning in life, like the overall mission of your life. And the important thing is that the mission of your life is not achievable. You want to set something that will take you through like your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. And it's going to be something that you can't actually achieve. You're just going to keep going towards your mission. It's like a purpose that drives you through the rest of your life. And that's what I think, detaching the idea of happiness away from the idea of your goals is important. To see these older guys, these guys who've gone through the ringer, had their 20s and 30s and 40s, and they've coming back and said like, yeah, achieving the goals, it's going to be a sense of pride and achievement and accomplishment, but not necessarily your happiness. Your happiness is something that you're going to have to work on almost on itself. I think the point of this video I want to make is that your relationship with your happiness, your relationship with your goals, detach them and recognize that maybe your happiness is something that you will achieve as its own goal separately. And it doesn't have to be something that waits for your overall goals, like your goals towards women, your goals towards money, your goals towards your body. Your happiness doesn't have to wait for those to be achieved. It's something you can begin working on now. It's something that will help as an aside to the rest of your goals. And maybe you will shift away from goals and towards having meaning and mission at some point. And maybe that will be the happiest part of your life. Maybe that'll be the part when you're most fulfilled as a human being. Because that's, I think, what I'm heading towards. And I believe what Andy's headed towards as well. Andy and I have some general advice as well when it comes to, striving towards your goals. So I'm not telling you here to like put your goals to the side. If anything, I'm just adding another goal to your plates with the whole, try and be happy. But one of the things you can do if you're feeling like a lot of your goals are grinds, like you're not getting anything out of them, but you want to keep going. Andy and I have spoken a lot about trying to make them more fun, more positive, putting positive spins on stuff that you're going through. That's like the work and the turnarounds with Byron Katie stuff. But also just inside our businesses, Andy and I try to lean into what feels easy, what feels fun. On this channel, Andy only really does content that he wants to do. There's something actually really impressive about that. Like there's a lot of channels out there, I think, where guys aren't releasing content they want to do. And he knows, private conversations with people, lots of channels within our sphere, just pumping out content they think will keep the views ticking over, keep the people watching, which is, valid. Their businesses, they'll do what they need to do. But Andy is very stubborn about, releasing content that he actually wants to make. And I nowadays I'm on board with that now. Like, I only want to make content that I want to make. I'd love for you guys to, welcome me in the way that you welcome and accept Andy as well. But I think, I haven't been chased off Andy's channel with pitchforks and flaming torches, so it's going okay so far. But yeah, leaning into the content I want to make, other parts of business, leaning into the parts of the businesses that you like, and then outsourcing the rest. That tends to really help in business. Finding, VAs to do stuff that you don't want to do, trying to outsource as much as possible. Then in dating, we talk about, Andy and I like fuck yes girls for this reason. Like, the whole thing around dating girls that are really keen to be with you, show gratitude, to hang around with you, give you attention really easily, come over really easily, be really reliable. That's what happens when you date only fuck yes girls. It makes you feel a lot better about yourself. Even in the smaller stuff, like with cold approach and dating, making it more fun, like putting a positive spin on this stuff. We want guys, like, all of our advice is around the guys of, can we make this more fun? Can guys actually learn to enjoy this, learn to enjoy the process, not have it impede on their happiness and cause suffering? Make the process fun and enjoyable. And like with cold approach, like the fun challenges, having friends out with you, having wings, doing everything you can to make things feel easy, lean into things that feel easy. Is there another thing I can think of? The gym is an interesting one. There are things I like around it. Like, I actually quite like the diet, and I like tracking, like, and making, the fun, almost science experiment of like your calories and your protein intake and all that stuff. But like the actual working out in the gym, I don't like that really that lot. And I know Andy's had a really bad relationship, or bad is the wrong word. He's had a really complicated relationship with the gym and feeling pressured and feeling shamed into doing it. That is a big point I haven't really spoken about, like the pressure and shame and the beating yourself up that happens along the way with these goals. I think with the gym as well, like, oh, you didn't go to the gym today, I'm a pussy. I couldn't keep my calories under the limit today. I have no willpower. A lot of negative talk like that, negative self-talk. The gym is a really interesting exercise in building like an ironclad mindset where you don't talk yourself down, and you learn to maybe learn to enjoy something you didn't enjoy at the beginning, like finding a way to enjoy a process that is like literally destroying your body and rebuilding it. Like, I remember I really enjoy watching Sam Sulek, the gym and fitness influencer. I think most of the internet does at the moment. And he talks about how like he just learned he learned to feel the pain as an enjoyable sensation of the gym. And like, obviously, if you're chasing strength, really easy to, find the positives in like hitting new lifts, hitting all that stuff. You can jig it around as well, where you can PR every single time you go into the gym if your diet's good and your sleep's good, but you just move stuff around. So instead of PRing on a weight, you PR on a rep range or something like that. And typically you're able to do that and progress. And that feeling for me of progression is what I focus on and what I lean into. I'm really careful to make sure I'm always doing some level of progression, not because it's going to make me bigger, but also because for the momentum and the positive feeling towards the gym. I've done a lot to, make sure I'm only thinking towards the stuff that I love about the gym and I love about training and diet and exercise. I know Andy's done this too. And for Andy as well, it was just as much as like taking a break from his trainer and taking a break from the gym. I actually recommended this the other day to a guy who said he was basically in the comments saying that a lot of it feels like a grind and he feels hopeless about achieving his goals. And we've seen this guys in the group getting overwhelmed, beating themselves up, maybe having a breakdown, chasing the goals they're chasing. And we said to them, like, hey, take a break for a couple of weeks. Like, maybe that is the answer. If you're going so hard, there's nothing you can do to get yourself out of this tailspin of feeling overwhelmed. Do the opposite. See if you can sit with yourself and do nothing for a week and still feel good about yourself and still feel happy with yourself. If you can sit there and feel and focus on being okay with doing nothing and having that inertia in your self-improvement and movement towards your goals, that's the key here. That's detaching your happiness from your goals. Just being able to sit and do nothing and not move forward and still be happy. That would be the ultimate achievement in what I'm talking about here, in detaching your ability to feel happiness with your ability to meet your goals in your life. I guess I'll finish it there because I don't think I have much more to say on this topic. Hope you guys got something from this video. It was a little bit rambly, but maybe I made some salient points at certain parts. Peace out till next time.